Hey, it's Sam Rossi. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how to avoid harassment. This is a video for women who are networking, who want to avoid being harassed by creepy dudes. Fortunately, this has only ever happened to me one time, and I'll make a story time video about that, but you can use these 4 tips to reduce the chances of having this kind of crappy situation happen to you while you're out connecting and networking with new people. So, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay updated with my content, and let's get right into it. Now, I just want to preface this video by saying it's garbage that I actually have to make videos like this. Women should not have to be avoiding harassment. Men should not harass women, okay? And people should not harass other people, man or woman. Just putting that out there. But you can use these tips to help reduce the chances that anyone comes at you sideways or does some creepy crap to you, like people sometimes do. So here's tip number 1, and I actually learned this from other women that I have networked with, and I thought this was a phenomenal tip, so I look forward to sharing it with you. Tip applies to networking groups and networking events, more so like actual groups, not one-off things. Like I'm talking about joining a networking group, this tip will apply to you. The tip is to go out of your way to make friends and connections with the owner of the group. So that could be the host, the founder, the owner of the group, whoever's at the very top who makes a lot of the decisions on whether or not someone can join the group or whether someone gets kicked out of the group. And the reason why you want to go out of your way to do this is because people in the group will see that you have that connection. They're going to see you in conversation, they're going to see just your friendship, and anyone who might be tempted to creep on you or harass you will think twice about it, because most people who invest money to be in a group like this don't want to get kicked out, right? Because then their investment kind of goes down the drain and their reputation gets ruined. So by becoming friends with the owner, founder, or host of the group, you are creating a level of protection and insulation for yourself from people who would otherwise be creepy or prey on you because you don't have those connections. Tip number 2, if you're not interested in someone, don't act like you are. Now, I am by no means blaming women for this behavior, because women are actually socialized to cater to the feelings of men. Women are raised to be hyper aware of the feelings of men, and this causes us to do things like say yes when we really mean no, and laugh at jokes that aren't funny, and be overly friendly in situations where we're completely entitled to be dismissive and maybe even be rude. But because we're raised this way, we don't do those things, and it can open ourselves to harassment and to mistreatment by men. So one thing that I would suggest for you, and this is something I personally have struggled with and I am personally working on, recovering people pleaser here, one thing I would suggest is to focus a lot of your personal growth on becoming okay with standing up for yourself, becoming okay with not catering to the feelings of men, and becoming okay with being secure in letting the world know what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. Now, this is not easy, it's tough work to do, but it will go a really long way in helping you feel more secure and more comfortable in social situations. That's the word I was looking for, boundaries. Working on being okay with setting and enforcing boundaries for yourself around how people can behave toward you and around you will go an extremely long way in helping you develop as a person and helping you be proactive in avoiding harassment. Tip number 3, I really like this tip as well. It's band together with other women and men in your group. Really go out of your way to take advantage of the fact that you are in a place where you can connect with others. Again, this applies mostly to networking groups and networking events. This also applies to like teams and other places where you're in a kind of tight-knit group of people. Making those connections and not being that loner who kind of just is there but isn't connecting with anyone will help you avoid harassment. You can even ask people who you should get to know and who you should avoid. If I had done this, it would have saved me a very uncomfortable situation. And again, I'll talk about that in a different video, but people know. And if you're new to a group, don't be afraid to be like, hey, who's good here and who should I kind of avoid? People will tell you. And building those strong relationships with other people and becoming part of a group will help you avoid being perceived as like one of those weak targets that creepy dudes and dudes who are open to harassing others look for. That's the thing. If you are alone and if you seem like someone who doesn't have the social support and the emotional and mental support to defend yourself, that's when you are more likely to be targeted by creepy dudes. It's so garbage, but it's the way it is. And I'm happy to be able to give you these tips. I just wish it wasn't this way. And finally, tip number 4. This is probably the most obvious tip, but it's also the one that I actually missed. The worst interaction I ever had through networking happened because I ignored this tip. I went to a one-on-one meeting in a private location. I had met this individual before. It wasn't the first time we were meeting, but I did take a meeting with him in an office on a closed day, so there was literally no one else there, and it was just the two of us, and I had a really creepy experience with the guy. But anyway, this tip, again, it's very obvious. Try not to go anywhere private with new connections that you don't know very well. Always take one-on-one meetings in public locations with other people around. Don't go anywhere with someone before or after hours. Make sure you go during open hours where there's other patrons, other customers. Go to a park where there's other people. Just don't go anywhere alone with someone you don't know very well. That's a huge tip, and it's very important that you follow that one. And don't be afraid to tell people, no, why would I go somewhere with you alone? I don't even know you. Like, say it. Just say it. If you think it's freaking weird that someone's asking you to do that, make them aware that you think it's weird, and they might think twice about it.